Khan Shalom Akim, when give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash, double honors to the elder apostles of great Millstone who teach and rule well, and Shalom to the sincere Akim from his truth and sincerity. Shalom. In this video, I want to cover an article that is on endtimeheadlines.org, which is a Christian-based news outlet that brings it information in relation to Bible prophecy. Um, this article is going into earthquakes. It says developing swarms of 40 earthquakes in 24 hours rattle northwest United States. So 40 earthquakes took place, in northwest of the United States, which that's quite a lot, if that happens in 24 hours in a certain region. It says one of North America's most active fault lines sprung to life on Tuesday after a swarm of more than 40 earthquakes, ranging from a magnitude of 3.5 to 5.8. Rattled off the coast of Oregon, catching the attention and concern of millions in the region. And an active fault line is a region that is prone, you know, to have these earthquakes take place. And if a fault line is discovered, it's most likely that eventually in the future earthquakes gonna take place. So 40 earthquakes ranging from a magnitude of 3.5 to 5.8 placed yesterday. Um, In front of me right now, I have an earthquake magnitude scale, which shows you the impact that earthquake has in relationship to the magnitude. So the first number that we read is 3.5, which that falls into this classification concerning the magnitude. That's often felt but only causes minor damage. So an earthquake like that doesn't really have that much of an impact. But it says to 5.8. So it varies between those two numbers, which that number is going into this classification. The slight damage to buildings and other structures. An estimated number each year concerning magnitudes, earthquake with those magnitudes is 350, which is a small amount concerning, you know, um, basically comparable to the amount of earthquakes that take place in a year. Because you don't hear about every earthquake, and they only um, bring out earthquakes that are of a certain magnitude or higher. All the ones that are less are not really, I said, brought out on the news. Because if you look at magnitudes concerning 2.5 or less, there are millions each year. And only as the magnitude increases, the estimated number gets less and less. So it says the series of quakes, which began early Tuesday morning and continued into Wednesday, were all clustered between 200 and 250 miles west of the coastal town of Newport, or far enough to be mostly undetected on land, but given the area's seismic history, it's creating quite a buzz. If you had asked me yesterday where on earth would be most likely to produce a bunch of magnitude 5 plus quakes in a single day, this would have been high on my list. Harold Tobin, director of the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network at the University of Washington, told CNN. So this man was already aware that um, that active fault line would eventually produce earthquakes. You see, otherwise his comment, would not have been that he already would say that they would be most likely to happen. As it says, if you'd asked me yesterday where on earth would be most likely to produce a bunch of magnitude 5 plus in a single day, this would have been high on my list. See, so that active fault line, North America, was high on his list to produce earthquakes like this. It says the fault line responsible for the quakes is in the Blanco fracture zone, according to analysis by Oregon State University It is more active than the infamous San Andreas Fault in California, having produced more than 1,500 quakes of magnitude 4.0 or greater since the 1970s. What has been most impressive about this week's quakes is the swarm has included tremors reaching a magnitude of 5.0 to 5.8, with the majority occurring at a shallow depth of only 10 kilometers. So yeah, um, this is second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 1. He will speak down the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in their mouth, said the Lord Yahawah. So here we are being commanded to speak the words of prophecy. Prophecy is the thing that is foretold to happen, which means if something was written down, over 2,000 years ago that it would happen, and eventually it happens, that's a prophecy. It was foretold to happen. And the Most High is here commanding us to serve as the prophets of Yahawashi and Yahawashi, starting off with the elder apostles of GMS on down, to bring out this information to the people of Yahawashi and Yahawashi, which are the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, but also those that were scattered among the heathen nations that might look like the heathen nations, but whose lineage does go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob according to their father's seed line. You see, so we have to speak those words in the ears of those people. Verse 2, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. So in this day and age, we have a compact Bible that includes the Old Testament, the New Testament, and the Apocrypha. See, those things that are pertained or contained in the Bible, they can be trusted and reliable. You see. And in this video, I'm bringing out information concerning earthquakes that were prophesied to happen, you know, in the latter days before the second coming of Yahawashi. You see, this is Ezekiel 3 for 17. Son of man, I've made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word of my mouth and give them warning from me. So, what is a watchman's task? What is his job? His job is to keep watch and report information concerning things that he sees. This is talking about the prophets, servants, the prophets of Yahweh who are being made those watchmen. You know? And we have to report that information that we have unto the nation of Israel. You see, we have to warn those people from those things that are coming upon the earth. That by means of those things we may persuade them to return back to Yahweh Yahawashi. You see? Verse 18, when I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way to save his life, the same wicked man should die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. So if we understand these scriptures, we have been given the breakdowns, given unto us, through the elder apostles GMS on down, and we know that information, we know the breakdowns of the prophecies. We're not bringing out the information, towards our people to warn them and to tell them that they need to come back to Bahasham Yashai. If we don't do it, in order to save him, and he just continues on with his life, and he dies in his iniquity, his blood is on our hands because we knew better. Verse 19, yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. If we do know about all these things, if we have been given, the breakdowns and the wisdom and knowledge and understanding of the scriptures, through the elder apostles, GMS on down, and we're bringing out information and we're warning our people, you know, and tell them to come back to Yahawashi Yahawashi because this is the end time, this is the latter days. Yahawashi is almost coming back, you know. Time is now to turn back and turn away from doing that wicked shit that you've been doing, you know. But you hear everything that we're saying and you decide not to listen, you're gonna die too. But we have washed our hands from your blood, you see. So this is Second Esdras chapter 9 and verse 1. And this is our duty. We have been made watchmen unto the house of Israel. We are speaking those things that are contained in the scriptures, bringing out that information. You know, and one of the tasks of the watchman, as it says in Second Ezra the ninth chapter, is to measure time diligently. You know, Second Ezra chapter 9 verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand this the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So how are we measuring the times? We're watching the news, we're bringing out that information, and filtering it through the scriptures. In this lesson, I'm talking about how 40 earthquakes in 24 hours took place in northwest of the United States. This is information that's being brought out by a news outlet. What I'm doing right now in this video is filtering that information through the scriptures and bringing out that information, trying to warn our people and inform those people to turn back to Bahasham Yahawashi, you know, because as it says in the second verse, then shalt thou understand that's the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And how is he doing that? By giving us all these signs and tokens and judgments upon the earth, that we may know that it's the time that was spoken about, in the past. Verse 3, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shall the well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So, the point for this lesson is the earthquakes. If we're seeing these earthquakes take place, and of course also the uproars, and there are many more signs that we can see through the scriptures, you know, that we understand that the Most High already spoke of those things back in the days, but also that it's the same time when He's coming to visit this earth which He made, but bringing forth judgment, by showing His power. You know, this is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 3. And as He sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto Him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what should be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? So the disciples asked Yahawashi, so what are going to be the tokens and the signs that we're able to witness before you're going to come back concerning the second coming, and concerning the end of the times, because the word world over there in Matthew chapter 24, verse 3 is eon, which eon is concerning a certain period of time. It says forever, an unbroken age, perpetuity of time, eternity, the world's universe, period of time. You see? So it's not going to be the destruction of the earth in itself, because the earth abided forever. Ecclesiastes 1 and 4. So it's concerning a certain period of time. Verse 4, and Yahweh shall answer and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So one of the signs that Yahawashi is giving us is that we're going to see wars. We're going to hear about rumors of wars. And this week, also an article came out concerning the Russo-Ukrainian war. How tensions are rising between Russia and the Ukraine. That's a rumor of war. But even though we're seeing all these things, the wars between the rumors of wars between Azerbaijan, Russia, Israel, China, when all those countries, when there are rumors of wars, we shouldn't be troubled. Of course, it might be a scary thing to really see it happening and unfold because you know about it. But Yahawashi himself is saying, don't be troubled, don't be afraid. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So, yeah, we're seeing these things. We're experiencing these things. We're seeing it with our own eyes. We're hearing about it. But it's not time yet for Yahawashi to come back. We still need to endure. We still need to have patience, you see, which is long suffering. And also, have the time to await that which you expect to happen, you know. Verse 7, for nations shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. So all these nations are going to rise up against each other. We're going to experience a lack of bread and a lack of water upon this earth. We're going to be hit with pestilences, all kinds of diseases. We're in a pandemic right now. We're also going to experience earthquakes. This article is going into how 40 earthquakes in 24 hours took place in the United States, you know, and the diverse places go into how at different places upon the earth that these signs are going to come to pass. Verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows. So, yeah, we're going to see and witness all these things, but this is just the beginning of what's ahead of us, because the time of Jacob trouble is ahead of us, and the only one that's able to save him, Yahawashi. Therefore, we need to seek His protection. We need to seek His guidance. And how you can receive His guidance? Through service to prophets who are bringing out that information pertaining to the scriptures. See? That are able to feed you with the this is Jeremiah 3:15, and I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. So those men, those servants of prophets Bahasham Yahawashi, starting off with the other apostles GMS and down, they shall feed you with knowledge and understanding of the scriptures. See? Because you also have those false pastors in the churches. You have also those false leaders among the nation of Israel that are bring out information that is not the 100% truth. You see, they're withholding certain information, or they don't bring out the correct breakdowns. So how you're able to have the right knowledge, wisdom, understanding, how you're able to build up yourself, concerning what's to come, if you're not going to be fed with the 100% truth. You see. So Yaratazah, this lesson, that went into the earthquakes was edifying. Yaratazah, I'm also able to do more prophecy in the news videos, which are not that long, but do point out the prophecies that are contained in the scriptures in relationship to what is being brought out uh, by these news outlets. You know, so Yartaza, this video is edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Double honors to the other apostles of great Millstone who teach and rule well, and shalom to the sincere Akims, burnish truth and sincerity.